The last faulty position or motion has to do with too much side bending and rotation. And those motions typically happen together. As I side bend, there's going to be some amount of rotation through my low back. And that's a problem. If we have too much of that, it'll eventually lead to wear and tear. When I rotate period, the majority of the rotation should either be happening through my hips or my upper and middle back, called my thoracic spine, all right? But often what will happen is, because we sit a lot, as we rotate here and side bend, all that motion is predominantly happening through the low back. It's really not designed for that. That'll lead to some wear and tear. One more reason not to sit. Another reason why we might get too much rotation is a lack of hip rotation. If I can't adequately rotate through my hip, like I am right here, then I'm going to stop my motion, and then I'll get some of that motion through my middle back like I should, but then a lot of that motion might happen through my low back, leading to wear and tear. If I lack a certain amount of hip extension range of motion, as I'm walking and I try and get my leg to come behind me, if I can't get my leg behind me correctly, then I'll find that motion by rotating the pelvis. If I have one hip that has greater amounts of hip flexion than the other, when I go to bend forward, I might start to get some type of rotation going on. And that will happen with bending forward, but also too, sitting. So if I'm sitting down and one hip likes to flex more than the other, it's going to force my pelvis into some form of rotation and or side bending. And that will lead to problems. Or lastly, I would say, if you just have the poor habit of sitting like this or like this. I personally need to catch myself. I have a tendency to go over like this, and that's leading to some shearing, some shifting, lateral bending, rotation through the spine, leading to wear and tear. So if I sit like this for a while, I might start to get some sciatica, and I say, do as I say, and to get into good position with my core engaged. If I lack any motion in my hip in the frontal plane, all right, what will happen is I'll make that motion up through my spine. So if I can't take my leg out to the side like this well, then I'll find that motion by tilting through my low back. This is called hip hiking. Another thing that'll happen is if I lack strength in my lateral buttock muscles here, these muscles help stabilize me on one leg, like needed for activities like walking and running. So if I can't stabilize myself well, one of two things will happen is I'll either lean to the side like this through my low back, or another option would be I will get a pelvic drop, okay? And as you get both of those motions, whether I'm leaning to the side or dropping my pelvis, that motion is coming through the low back, it'll lead to wear and tear. So those are some of the reasons why people will have too much rotation or side bending going on in the low back, which will ultimately lead to wear, tear, injury, and pain.